This episode of Spectre Sound Studios is brought to you by DistroKid. Get your music online and out to the world. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to SMG Viewers Comments episode 137. Hope you're having a great Friday. Hope everybody's going to have an awesome weekend. Let's get right to it.
The definition of a drummer in 2018. Someone who can play what the guitarist programmed in EZdrummer without doing his own thing or groove. This means following the guitar with a kick and snare toms exactly with a drum sound as short and clicky as possible, and quarter notes on cymbals that have no attack to give the rhythm. In short, be a glorified metronome.
Oh, I don't know how true that is. I haven't found many drummers who can actually play on a metronome. If you mean after the fact and, everything's been timeline and the drummer's been completely censored out, yeah, okay, I can see that. That would be basically a glorified metronome. I don't get it. Especially with the whole samples thing and playing on electronic kits, if you're time-aligning everything, why even have a drummer? Just program it. It'd probably just save you a lot of grief. But yes, the art of recording live drums. There is something there, and I've got my lesson coming out very soon called Producing Prog Metal, and you guys are going to want to see it, and I can show you guys how I do my drums, and I think you guys are really going to dig it. Stay tuned for that. More information on that very soon.
Here's a good question. How often do you review your old work? Whether it's for tracking your progress over the years or to see if something you did before works better or just as well as you do now. I was told by a local producer that I should start doing so right away and wanted your opinion. Thanks from Florida.
Well, I check out my stuff every now and then. I've got a USB stick full of music that I listen to in my van on random, so every now and then some of my old mixes will come up. Some I really enjoy, some I just cringe, It really depends on the project, and it all depends on what I went through at the time, too. There's certain records I've done where I can't even stand listening to them, not so much because of the recording, but because it just reminds me of working with that particular client, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. So I do agree, though, review your work, absolutely. There were a couple projects I pulled up recently where I listened to a couple things and I was like, wow, we got a pretty badass guitar sound on that, and I hadn't listened to it in a while. I'm like, okay, what did I do on that one? That kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely helps to review and see your progress and see where you're going. Great question, by the way.
Hi Glenn, how do you treat Mike Blade on drums recording? I can't record drums myself, so our drummer recorded himself in a proper studio, but on the recording he brought back, there's terrible bleed in all the tracks and you can hear almost all the drums in any one track, like hi-hat on snare and vice versa and so on. Should I use noise reduction and thus risk the dying out sounds of a snare, for example, or should I leave it as it is? How many dBs of bleed noise is okay and treatable? Cheers, Dave.
That's a fantastic question, Dave. Now, this is the thing, and I'm sure this is why this freaks so many people out when it comes to working with real drums, is because so many people are coming up and used to working with samples. They don't work with tracks that have bleed and they don't know how to approach it. Bleed is going to be part of the sound. That's just the thing. There's a lot of elements going on in a drum kit all at the same time, and you're not going to have 100% isolation. There are some very, very cool tools these days that allow you to treat that bleed and deal with it in very interesting ways. Like there's the FabFilter Pro plugin. I use that on snares, and we can use that as like a dynamic gate, so to speak, but it works more like a multi-band gate, and it's just cuts the top end off the snare mic, allows the snare to pop on and off, and we still get the thump out of the snare and all that. It's a really cool plugin. There's Drumatom, which you can sample the bleed and take it out as much as you want. There are fantastic tools out there. All you got to do is look. I've got a couple of really cool examples up in some of the videos I've done before. Go through some of my SMG computer recording tutorial videos. There's a playlist in the cards on top, and you can check those out, and there's just loads and loads and loads of great information. All you got to do is go through some of my tutorial videos.
Don't ever try to say anything nice about a spider again. You're fucking dead, kiddo.
Oh no, anonymous threats on the internet. Please, no, not that.
What's happening with TJ? Haven't seen him in a while. I know you've got an awful lot of talented people that you work with and some truly phenomenal drummers, but I really dig TJ's drumming. Not as fancy as some, but he has this awesome feel to his playing. Lays down the beat with authority.
Found him. Hey everybody, this episode is sponsored by DistroKid, my absolute favorite service to put music out to online retailers like iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and Spotify, plus 150 smaller online music retailers as well. It only costs $20 a year, and you keep 100% of your earnings. DistroKid also has lots of cool features, including instant verification on Spotify and change your image on Apple Music and iTunes. What's more is that they've got a new feature that lets you add credits and liner notes to stores and streaming services. You can now list musicians, contact info, social media profiles, and hundreds of other roles. They've also got the Teams function, which allows you to split your earnings automatically among your bandmates, and a cover song license only costs $12 a year. I use DistroKid to put my music out to the world, and it saves me so much hassle. If you've got a band, you really need to check it out. Go to distrokid.com/VIP/Spectre today, and you can grab yourself a 7% discount. I'll put the link in the description below. Now back to the show.
Hey Glenn, I noticed in other videos you mentioned charging an hourly rate for mixing, mastering instead of a flat rate. How do you communicate the hours worked with the band paying you? Have you ever had a band accuse you of lying about how many hours you worked on a track? Thanks.
When I've got a band in the studio, what I'll usually do is I'll shave hours in the band's favor, because I do tend to get off on a few rants and do a couple mini sermons on whatever subject is bothering me that particular day. And, if we're in for maybe 10 hours for the day, the band might get billed for 7 or 8 or something like that. Generally, I will always shave hours in their favor, and that way they usually trust me when it comes time to mixing. And I'll do the same thing. I'll do that. And if somebody wants to bitch about it, okay, great, go somewhere else next time. You don't want to take my word for it, that's fine. I don't necessarily need your business then. Believe me, there's plenty of other people I can work with, and you got to have some trust. But that's the thing. It's all about your reputation, and if you're going to stand up and stand by your words, you have to honor what you're putting down on paper. So you'd better damn well be honest.
So, despite being Canadian, Glenn's actually a closet redneck after all. P.S. Low-hanging fruit much?
Oh yeah, that was about the old Line 6 spider thing. The whole point on that was we were going out to a gun range, and a couple guys were fans who lived out in Vegas were fans of the show, and they wanted to take us out to a gun range, and I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. And it was just kind of on the way out. They were like, well, we're going to grab some tannerite. And I'm like, well, what the hell is that? And they explained to me, and I'm like, cool, can we hit a pawn shop on the way out of town? But, I can do that once in my life, and you know what, that's fine. I don't have to do that ever again, but that was quite a lot of fun. I definitely wouldn't call myself a redneck. That's my brother.
Said it the first time, we'll say it again. Why not offer the amp to a kid that can't afford them? Pretty sure there's a lot of institutions that help poor kids that would love to have that amp for the kids to play on.
Oh yes, the self-righteous butthurt crowd. Here's the thing, nothing's stopping you from buying one and doing the exact same thing. Lead by example. And by lead by example, I mean last year I gave away my $3,000 Rev amp, so put up or shut up.
Hey Glenn, any chance you could put the raw multitracks out there? Would love to practice. Cheers from Germany, Daniel.
Hey Daniel, yeah, I'm gonna take a look and see if I can make those tracks available to you guys. Stay tuned over the next week or two. As of right now, I think I've got 2 different multi-track packages you guys can download. I'm gonna put some links in the description below for those. Make sure you check them out if you haven't got them already. There's like one's for a kind of a mellower song, one's a little bit heavier and whatnot. But it should give you a bit of a chance to play with some nicely recorded live drums. Enjoy!
Through a lot of your vids, I never made the connection that you're on Windows. Can you speak a little about performance tweaking in Windows for DAWs? Would love to hear your recommendations. Really like these plugins and the demo.
Yeah, the Sonoma stuff is fantastic. The install is great. As for working on Windows, I've been working on Windows, I don't know, since the inception of the studio. Win 7 is definitely a lot easier on audio than, say, 98 was or Windows ME. XP was pretty good, but Win 7 is really good. Basically, if you're going to do audio on Windows, just go into MS-config and turn off everything. That way, that frees up all your memory and CPU cycles and whatnot. There's another cool program I used to use called XP Smoker. It's now 7 Smoker Pro, and it basically lets you tweak your OS and turn off a lot of crap you don't need and just free up CPU resources for important things like running your audio. It's not too tough. I should really do a tutorial on that at some point. Again, I've been talking about maybe doing Windows 10 at some point as well, upgrading, and maybe I can do a little video exploring that and seeing where that goes.
Hey Glenn, what's your opinion on Gibson not showing up to NAMM this year?
Well, kind of answered that on the Flying V video, but yeah, I don't think anybody really missed Gibson one bit. Not when there's so many cool guitar manufacturers on the show floor and so many cool guitars out there. It's like Gibson wasn't there. Oh well, big deal. Guess what? Horse and buggy manufacturers weren't there either.
It totally makes sense now. You're a pecker sucker. Your hate towards Christianity, long woman's hair, and your offense at the word fag.
Oh man, don't you just love Jesus' fan club spreading the message of love and tolerance for everyone in the world? Oh, except for the ones they don't like, right? Okay, the ones that don't fit into their very narrow-minded view of what's right and wrong. Here's the thing, man. If you're obsessed about what somebody else does in the company of other people, get a life. I mean, come on, really. There are some amazing people out there in the world that happen to be gay. So what? People are born differently from each other. That's how life works. Get over it, deal with it, and shut the fuck up. And you ever notice how it's always the Christians who are rampantly anti-homosexual are the ones who are in the closet?
Hey Glenn, almost all professional studios use Mac over Windows. Any specific reason you still use Windows? Cheers from India, love your stuff, and I'm a bass player.
Hey, man, thank you so much for writing in. That's so cool. I love hearing from guys from all over the world. I know there's a raging metal scene in India, and I think that is really awesome. I would love to come to India and work with one of the bands there one day. I think that would just be a dream come true. Anyway, as for your original question, why do I work on Windows as opposed to Mac? Because I'm a bit of a gearhead. I'm a technology nerd, and I like building my own machines, and I don't need a lockdown system to tell me what I can and can't do. I'd rather tweak that out and build the system I want to suit my needs specifically. And that's why I go with Windows, that's all. I might get into Mac this year, I don't know, just to explore it and to see what happens. Might be cool, might not. I've been hearing a lot of bad things about the newer Macs for audio, so it really remains to be seen. I think that would be an extremely interesting video, so I am gonna put that on probably the work pile, and maybe I can do that this summer. That'd be really cool to explore.
That scene at 402 isn't complete. Drummer isn't drunk, guitarist definitely practiced before and looks like he knows what he's doing, and most sacrilegious, there's no auto-tune or mic swallowing. Are you guys calling yourselves professional? What a bore.
Okay, that's the comment of the week. Give that guy a beer.
I really didn't expect such a huge difference in the full mix. I thought the difference would hardly be noticeable in a full mix context, but damn, the track just comes to life with the new strings.
Well, duh, I've only been saying that for 4 years. I'm glad I could spell it out and show it to you guys, though. Here's the thing, though. Even though you've got this shining example of what new strings can do, chances are your bass player is still going to spend his money on weed. Oh, wait, who am I kidding? He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have a job. All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Please check out DistroKid. It's the most awesome way to get your music out there and online to the world. And don't forget to check out my free multi-tracks. You can check the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, and I'm going to dedicate this especially to our friend from the Jesus Fan Club, Hasadika E-Boy.